Right now, the world is experiencing various events that are prophetic, and yet the vast majority of churchgoers, Christians, were never warned that these things would happen. We looked at Islam, or at least I did, and I think the majority I talked with, and I wasn't a young tyke then either, folks. I'm 61, so I don't know how old you were at 9/11. That happened. We were told by the news media that this was just a group, handful of guys that came out of the Taliban, which we had never understood. America never understood the Taliban or Islam or radical Islam like that. I didn't. If you did, then I don't, you had some special insight. In fact, I'll never forget when the planes hit the towers. It was insanity to most Americans. Any hijacked plane ever before, you know what? It landed. Right, and then they asked for ransom. Correct. That's what a hijacked plane did. Correct. So when we saw this happen, it was like, what in the world? Who thinks like that? Not only not to land and ask for ransom, no, they want to kill themselves and everybody that they, try to kill themselves with. And for more than a decade after 9/11, Islam was stated by the news media, and the thinking was that they were more like Hinduism, Buddhism, that kind of thing. That's where we related Islamism, and if there was anything to it, it was a religion of peace. That was Islam. So when I was writing this in 2011, 2012, there was no ISIS, which came in 2014. Benghazi had not happened, which was in 2013. Come on, folks. And I'll say this, there was no prophet or prophecy that I had ever heard by anybody that Islam would be coming to America. That was never said by anybody that I'd ever heard. And you say, well, Steve, listen to me. There's only two things that I ever knew that came from John Paul Jackson that ever mentioned Islam, and he did that prophecy in 2008, folks. I had not seen it then. Promise, truth, right, God? I have to answer for what I tell you, folks. I didn't hear about John Paul Jackson giving a video until I got onto YouTube some years later. Truth, and all he'd ever said was that we were going to be expecting Islam in the White House by 2024, and that they may have tried to instigate protests. That's all I had ever heard then. But I wrote the book before. You don't want God anymore? America doesn't want God? No more Jesus? You don't have to have Jesus. You can have Muhammad. Look to Allah. There'll be your new replacement. No more Jesus Christ. No more God. He's going to give you exactly what you want. After that, I was on television for a couple years, and I was saying also the same tune on television. I believe in 2019, 2020, I was telling America what to expect. Because every form of evil at one point is going to be coming into America on U.S. soil. You hear what I'm saying? You who don't want God, you get God out of, just no God. You know what? You're going to have no God. Not Jesus Christ anyway. You're going to be finding out Allah is going to be the new God. I know it sounds crazy, huh, folks? This is all scriptural. I'm telling you right now. You don't like God, you don't like Jesus, God's going to give you exactly what you want. You can pray to Allah instead. Sid Roth, who deals with the end times a lot of prophecy and people he brings on from one side of the spectrum all the way to the other side of the spectrum and everybody in between. That's the Sid Roth Show. And yet I noted Sid Roth, having seen everybody under the sun who had anything to say about the end time, he had brought on, and yet even he had never even thunk.
Never in my lifetime did I think the United States of America would turn so anti-Jewish, so anti-Semitic, that Jewish college kids are fearful to go to college right now. Why are Jewish students? In my lifetime, I never thought we would see the forerunner of what happened in Hitler's Germany. That's what we're seeing right now. Never in my lifetime in the United States of America did I think this would happen. What he's done with our young kids, Muslims and non-Muslims and the protests and the anger level and the hatred. I mean, it's almost like a movie script. It's almost surreal. It's almost like I can't believe that's happening in the United States of America. But it is happening all over.
You got a side of a party that wants to bring in, this is key, bring in Islam into America, and you will simultaneously bring in chaos, destruction. You'll have the death and persecution of Christians and Judaism, Jews.
Joe Biden is contemplating importing a bunch of Palestinian Arabs from the Gaza Strip into the United States of America. And I didn't even think Biden was crazy enough to do this. That is not in this country's interest. You know, what we've seen over there, and we've seen the reflections in our own society of people out protesting in favor of Hamas terrorists. I mean, these are people that cooked babies in ovens while they were raping the babies' mothers, executing elderly people. We forget about what happened that day on October 7th, but that's what we're dealing with here. And to take people from that part of the world and import those blood feuds to this country, that is not in your interest or your family's interest. We should not be importing people in from the Gaza Strip.
I'm trying to give you the behind the scenes of where this country is headed, and it's the farthest thing from the majority of Christianity that we are going to see Islam on these shores, on this continent. I said it here. And I gave the revelations behind why, the specifics as to why we're going to see the fullness of it here. And hear me on this matter, folks. Listen to me. We, you, or many of you, are not ready for where this is headed. Recently, Netanyahu came to speak before Congress. And naturally, protests were happening, among many other things that were pretty sick. Bugs being released in. I don't know that I want to get into this part. But there was defamation of government property. There was a statue that was speaking via the Spirit, folks. You hear what I'm telling you right now. Many of you didn't take it that way or even see it. But there was a statue that had on it, written in red, Hamas is coming. Implying Hamas is coming here to America. Now, I know some of you are saying, well, Hamas is being killed. That I'm not trying to insinuate or suggest or say that Hamas is coming necessarily to America. I am telling you, radical's not even a good word. Islam is coming to America. It may not be Hamas. It's not going to necessarily be ISIS. That's not what I'm saying. I'm telling you that statue was prophetic. Again, I'm going to remind you, I was saying it at a time, and folks, again, it came by the Holy Spirit. I ain't that smart. I promise you I ain't that smart. And this is just one of many things that are beginning to happen right now. Now, while that statue was prophetic and speaking to America, who's not ready for any of this, recently we had the Olympic Open. A literal mockery of the Christian faith. But there was another sign in there that was also prophetic, provided we are where I'm telling you I'm about to go official of where I believe that we are. And it was a white horse opening the ceremony, depicting the white horse of Revelation. Now, listen to me. Some of you are saying what some of the news reports were that it was a pale horse. If this was prophetic, and I'm telling you that horse is right on time, we are seeing Islam raise up. You that have the graph understand why that's significant. If it was prophetic and the white horse is riding, against some people saying it was pale, folks, if it's prophetic, it was white and it looked white. Slightly pale, maybe. But listen to me, the Greek doesn't mean pale, if you're going to say that. The Greek, if you are aware, means green. More like a puke green, actually, really. So if that was a prophetic horse, it should have been a puke green. And yet it was white.
I give you the white horse. It's not a man. It's not an antichrist. It's not a spirit, an antichrist spirit, though there is a spirit behind this horse. This horse is Islamic, and she and all that is behind it is going to attack Israel, and Israel is going to be betrayed.
To sum up, you are witnessing the beginning of Islam, the replacement of our God in America. Islam is coming. That statue is prophetic. That white horse, I believe to be prophetic. All of this and more are converging, folks, for a reason. You are about to witness after November, listen to me, as another final nail in the coffin of where we are. You will witness a revolution, a revolt, a rebellion against the establishment. What you're going to see this November is unlike anything America ever thunk she would see. Better buckle up. I hope I made a case that you understand as to why what you're seeing now is just the beginning. But it was expected. Look for more to come. Until next time, take care and God bless.
You don't want God? You've taken God out of everything? There's not going to be a God, not a Jesus Christ anymore. You're going to get to have Allah. Allah can be your new God since you didn't like Jesus Christ.